What's up, fragrance connoisseurs? I'm back and I got my hands on Parfum de Marly Perseus. So we're going to go through it. Is it a new summer banger from Parfums de Marly? Is it just a Tiger clone or inspiration? We're going to go through it as long as you stay tuned for station identification, and we'll get into the new fragrance, Perseus by Parfums de Marly. All right, fragrance connoisseurs, we're back. Here it is, Perseus. Here's the box. It is a more utilitarian box than what we have seen before. The fragrance is inside like this, comes out. Box is pretty plain. In fact, it just has some cutouts that hold the fragrance in place. A lot different from the boxes from before. Say here's Leighton Exclusive, which is a box that actually has the felt insert. It has a better kind of sleeve top that goes on top. A lot more elegant, a lot less utilitarian. And so here's the big difference. However, $365. So the first thing we'll talk about, the name is on the front. As you can see, the information as far as the ingredients and everything are on the bottom. It's got a little bit of just advertising writing on the side and nothing on the other side. And then there is advertising on the back. And it basically says Parfum de Marly, the haute perfumery mason, created by Julian Sprecher, revives the splendor of the lifestyle of Chateau de Marly, a place dedicated to pleasure and celebration during the 18th century. A refined perfumery respecting French savoir-faire with audacious compositions. I'm not exactly sure if Parfums de Marly is audacious. They're very mass appealing. But audacious compositions that dare to go against the grain. Each fragrance has its own olfactory signature developed from a palette of noble ingredients. The splendor of the 18th century through a prism of modern vision. So there you go. Here it is. Not the greatest thing, especially for $365. But that is the box. We get into the bottle. So the bottle is basically pretty similar to most of the other bottles. This is the 125 mil, and it is a little more, I'd say, closer to mustard than the pumpkin of Altair. The Altair box was pretty similar to the box that there is, so that's their new thing. They are going away from doing the splendid boxes. Now we go into my overall impressions. So the first thing that I can say, and a lot of people have asked me because there's the grapefruit note or the grapefruit accord in it, is this like Bulgari Tiger? The answer is no. It is nothing like Bulgari Tiger. It doesn't even get you in the same neighborhood as Bulgari Tiger. The only thing that's like Bulgari Tiger is that it has grapefruit in it. It's not like Suspiro, Vibrato, none of those. They're all very different. This one is very different. Next thing, this is a spring and summer fragrance. It is not really for the wintertime. I did do a full wearing yesterday with this. I got it yesterday and opened it up and put it on full wearing. It was low 40s where I am. And so it probably wasn't the best atmosphere, but did get to get some viewpoints of it being inside. and being in the warmer room temperature areas that I was for the time yesterday. It lasts about 8+ hours on skin. So for a fresh scent, it really does last. For a citrus scent, it really does last. And if you know anything about different perfumes, citrus are usually top notes, and citrus usually are the ones that disappear the quickest. This, for me, it lasted 8 hours plus on skin. It had very good projection for the first 2 to 3 hours. And in fact, I'll talk about the different stages of it. The first stage of it, it filled the room. So there is a lot of projection, good performance. Usually Parfum de Marly does have good performance. There are two distinct phases. I don't really get the three phase that you would think of with a lot of niche perfumes. You get the opening, and then you get the mid, and then the mid into the dry down is kind of extended and just accentuated just a little bit in it, and I'll explain all of that coming up. So what you get from the beginning, this is a citrus blast, and you get a really big citrus blast in the beginning. The first thing you smell is a lot of grapefruit, and it's very photorealistic. It's very, very real grapefruit accord that you get into it, and it dominates the beginning of it. So you really have to like citrus if you want this. You really have to like citrus. And when you go into the opening, it will fill a room. Like I said, it is a citrus opening. It is grapefruit, but it's not the grapefruit that you would think of, say, as part of the pulp or as part of the fruit part of it. It is a tart. It's not sweet at all. In fact, there aren't any real sweet notes in this fragrance at all. So to me, it really gives you the impression of when you are peeling the grapefruit, and when you start peeling part of the peel away, and you have that little spritz or whatever you would call it of juice that comes from pulling the peel apart. And that's what it is. It's a tart kind of opening. And the place that you'll see is what we'll get into, and we'll go into the notes. But in general, that is the first thing you get. You're going to get 70% grapefruit, maybe 20% bergamot, and in general, this would be a good time to go through the notes. So it is not a complex fragrance, but it's not linear either. So it does have two distinct stages, and I'm talking about that. But in the top notes, you have grapefruit. You definitely have grapefruit, and you have bergamot, and then you have blackcurrant bud. And the blackcurrant bud is keeps it green. So a lot of this, where I talk about the peel of the grapefruit, it keeps it kind of green and kind of tart, and it keeps it out of that sweet realm. And to me, this isn't sweet at all. Then when you get into the mid, there's mandarin orange, so it's green mandarin is what they call it. It's vetiver, and so those are the big players in the mid, the green mandarin and the vetiver. And then it goes into the base, but in that mid, there also has geranium. Geranium to me smells like a green rose, not like a very pungent rose. It's more of a greener rose. In the base, they talk about dry woods. That's part of the note in the base. And then ambergris, which kind of gives it that musk and kind of gives it some longevity. And then cashmere wood. Those are all the notes that are listed on the website, and I'll go through and explain how they all play. In the beginning, when you are first spraying it on, like I said, you're going to get about 70% grapefruit, maybe 20% bergamot, and then the black currant seed is going to help keep it green. That lasts for at least 30 minutes. You really have to like citrus. And to me, that was one of the things that started it off, that I was not expecting so much of a citrus blast or so much of that tartness. I did appreciate it. So it for the realism of it, for the difference that I saw, I did appreciate that, but it wasn't something that I was expecting. Now, once it gets past that 30-minute mark, the Mandarin orange starts coming up. And from about 30 minutes to about 3 hours, they play this dance of the grapefruit kind of retreating and the Mandarin orange kind of taking more of a center stage. I don't think the grapefruit ever goes away in what I smelled in the dry down, which I do have this right here, but the Mandarin orange does, the green Mandarin comes in more. And I think in the dry down, as it goes more and more, it gets closer to maybe a 60-40 or 50-50 in the citrus aspect of it. The vetiver comes in really nicely, and vetiver is one of my favorite wood notes, and that's what kind of turned this around for me and made it a lot more enjoyable. I'm not just a citrus person, and the vetiver coming in, the dry woods coming in, and those are some of the things that helped me appreciate it more. So the dry woods, the ambergris, it's not overly musky, but you can give it, it gives it more depth. Trying to do my great Aaron Terrence Hughes impersonation, it just lengthens it out, gives it depth, and it goes through those two stages. But the deep dry down really is just accentuating or enhancing the mids. You get the vetiver for the rest of the whole thing. You kind of get the vetiver just a little bit coming in the beginning, but it takes more center stage and it blends out the citruses. I really like the dry down. I really like that part a lot better than the opening. The opening wasn't horrible. It wasn't bad. You just really have to like citrus scents. And I would definitely say you should try this before you blind buy. $365 is not a bad, it's not a good way to blind buy. The thing that I'll also say is what I learned in Altair is that it was within 4 to 8 weeks after I bought it directly online when it first came out. It was on discounters and it was discounted where you could get $125 off. So if you're willing to be patient, unlike me with the channel where I want to bring it to you as soon as possible, if you wait 4 to 8 weeks, you could get a significant discount on it and get it for a cheaper price. So those are the main things that I would say about it. I think that I need to have more of a wearing with it. I did wear it in colder temperatures. I did go into room temperature, but I would really like to see how it performs in the spring and summer and give it some time for this DNA to kind of settle with me. I would give it performance for a fresh fragrance. I would give it a 9 out of 10. It performed really well. It stayed on my skin a long time and it projected really well for the first 2 to 3 hours. The scent profile, I I really have to get more wearing in it. Right now, I would give it a 7.5, an 8. I think it's distinctive. It is not Bulgari Tiger. Again, it's not uh, uh, redundant as far as if you have Bulgari Tiger. I think this is something that you can have and it would work. So 7.5, 8, and just overall, I would say definitely get a sample. So what they did give, which was different than Altair, I'll give that came with the box. They give you 3 1.5 milliliter samples, and it's of their spring summer line. They're trying to upsell you for Percival, Greenlee, and then they give you Perseus again. So you could actually give it to somebody as far as the 1.5 mil. Now, Altair, before when I got Altair, they gave you a 10 milliliter and you got to choose. And I guess that they're just paring back on what they're doing. They also with usually whenever you buy straight from Parfum de Marly, they allow you to choose 2 samples of 1.5 milliliter. I chose Jelena La Rose for my wife, and then Pegasus exclusive. I wanted to get a full wearing on those. That's what comes with it. They ship pretty quickly. I got it the next day that I ordered it, so that was pretty cool. And that is it, basically. There you have it. Parfums de Marly, Perseus. Tell me if you are in the comments below. Are you looking to have it? Are you looking to get it? Can you wait? Or how do you feel about a very dominant citrus scent? Hope you enjoyed the video. Take care. God bless.
All right, here we go. Do 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 do.